All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Welcome and good morning. It is Friday, March 6th, and this is our Planning Commission meeting for the day. We will call the meeting to order. We'll first start with our preamble, and then we'll get the ball rolling from there.
In compliance with notification requirements of Ohio's Open Meeting Law and Section 101.021 of the Codified Ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conduct their meetings in a manner modeled after Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Recusals from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting has the opportunity to be heard, we ask that online participants use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube. All requests to speak on a particular matter submitted through proper channels have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Proper channels for comments are listed below. Communication with members of this body must follow proper channels for consideration. Any comments received by the Wednesday 12 p.m. deadline are collected by City Planning staff and disseminated to the Commission members prior to any scheduled meeting. Proper channels for public comment. Sending an email to the cityplanning@clevelandohio.gov address with a comment or a letter. Calling and/or leaving a message at 216-664-2210. Sending a letter or dropping off comments at City Hall, 601, Lakeside Avenue, Suite 501, Cleveland, Ohio, 44114. Meeting rules and procedures. The chair will call each agenda item and then each applicant will be invited to proceed through their presentation. Each presentation should be completed prior to questions and comments from the Commission in order to facilitate a smooth presentation. Once the presentation has concluded, the chair will ask planning staff to summarize Design Review Advisory Committee recommendations, if applicable, and any public comments received. Public comments received through the proper channels by the deadline are distributed to Commission members prior to the meeting. Staff will also identify any members of the public present and scheduled to speak. Public comment is allowed at the discretion of the chair, and any individual providing public comment is permitted 2 minutes to speak to the agenda item in which they have an interest. The chair will then request a recommendation from staff, if applicable. The Commission will then begin deliberations and project review. Any Commission member, except the chair, may make a motion at any point after an agenda item has been called.
Evelyn, can you please call the roll?
Anthony?
Present.
Fluker is not present. McCray Scott?
Present.
Sargent is not online yet. So, Slife?
Present.
And Whitfield.
Present.
You have a quorum. Awesome. Thank you so much. Our first order of business is to approve the minutes from our February 20th meeting. We've all had a chance to review those minutes in advance. May I please have a motion for those minutes?
Madam Chair, I'd like for us to approve the minutes from the previous meeting, please.
I'll second the motion.
A motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Anthony?
Yes.
McCray Scott?
Yes.
Slife?
Yes.
And Whitfield.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. For our commission members, as well as those present here and online, we are going to make one shift for one of our mandatory referrals. So we're going to start with the one as listed in the agenda, but we're going to move unnumbered ordinance, which is on page, I don't see the page number, but it's next to the mandatory referrals toward the back. We're going to move that up after this first mandatory referral presentation. But first, to get us started, we're going to start with mandatory referral ordinance number 245-2026. And if you can just state your name for the record, that would be great.
Absolutely. Good morning, commission members. Lucas Reeve, one of the senior advisors to the mayor in the mayor's office. Yeah.
Slides.
Sure. I always love using stuff. Well, We'll roll the dice on it this morning. Thanks so much for having some time for us this morning to talk about this important initiative that we've been working on for a few months here. I think just to kind of get us kicked off, I wanted to provide a little bit of background kind of heading into this parking special fund that we're going to talk about this morning. Over the course of the first quarter of this year, we've rolled out some changes to on-street metered parking in both downtown and Ohio City. The goals of the enhanced on-street parking program, there are a number of them. I think first and foremost, our goal is to have as much accessible, convenient, available parking for folks where and when they need it. For us, that means using price to have high demand zones turn over more often to provide access for folks to commercial corridors and things like that. Also, this is a part of a larger effort to modernize the system broadly. You'll remember a few years ago as we rolled out the Park Mobile platform, something that folks were clamoring for, to be able to have the ability to pay for parking using an app. Certainly, we still have the pay stations available for folks that want to pay with cash as well. But we've seen a great adoption of that app, and folks are very happy using that as their main resource to pay for parking across the city. The other thing is we want to make sure that as we continue to modernize our on-street parking system, that we're looking at other peer cities, both here in the Midwest and East Coast, but in fact across the nation, to understand what best practices look like for parking systems that are dynamic and responsive to needs. And so as we've rolled out these changes in the first quarter of 2026, we're already looking to make changes to that system to provide responsive solutions where necessary to help make sure that the system is balanced and works for everybody to the best of our ability anyhow. And then what we're here to talk about today is our third goal is to be able to take a portion of the revenue from on-street parking and reinvest it back into neighborhoods across the city. We'll talk a little bit about that as we go through the presentation. The last thing I wanted to mention is that as we've worked to develop this enhanced on-street parking policy that we rolled out, and in fact, most importantly, throughout the rollout process over the last few months, a significant amount of community engagement has gone into this, wanting to make sure that folks have an opportunity to inform the work, but also are aware of the changes, and we can build deep relationships with folks at the neighborhood level, whether they're residents or business owners or folks that work at some of these businesses, to make sure that we're getting their feedback in, even as we're looking to make changes in the coming months to make sure that the system works for everyone. I've already not been here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, should have heated your mornings. So what we're here to talk about this morning is the Parking Benefits Fund. And so what we're looking to do, this is one of those goals, as I mentioned, is to be able to create a special revenue fund where we can take a portion of the revenue from on-street metered parking and be able to reinvest that right back into neighborhoods citywide. The target of the investments is looking towards things that we know neighborhoods need and folks that we engage with at the neighborhood level are demanding. These are things related to safety, accessibility, and mobility. We want to be able to make sure that we can continue to make those investments, and this special fund will be a helpful, dedicated revenue source that will allow us to make those investments on an ongoing basis all across the city of Cleveland. Perfect. So what we're looking to do, this is a little bit around the mechanics of how this will work. Currently, parking revenue and operations, for those of you who tuned into the budget sessions over the last few weeks, got a quick crash course on this, but it's currently all held within a special enterprise fund, small enterprise fund, I should say, which has both on-street and off-street parking operations and revenue. So both the metered on-street portion of it, as well as some of the off-street parking lots and parking garages that the city owns and operates, are all within that parking enterprise fund. So what we're looking to do is be able to pull out a portion of that net revenue. So we want to make sure that we keep those operations whole and provide for their ability to expand in the future or handle unforeseen costs. And so what we're looking to do is take 75% of the net revenue and move it into a special revenue fund.
Planning Commission.
No worries. So move that into a special revenue fund that would allow us to make those investments into safety and mobility citywide. Should also note that sort of the mechanics here on the timing would be that we would make that change and then be able to start having revenue diverted into those investments in July of this year. So a little bit of time to get things set up and rolling. Some examples here, as you well know, these things are critically important at the neighborhood level in terms of the types of investments that this fund would support. These are quality of life improvements, things that we know are needed at the neighborhood level. And again, having this sustainable, dedicated source that we know year over year, we can use this revenue to support these types of investments is critically important in terms of what we're looking to do. Some examples of investments that this fund could support could be improvements to sidewalks, improvements to curbs, better ADA ramps, crosswalk enhancements, a whole variety of traffic calming opportunities, whether it's speed tables or otherwise. Curb management, just thinking about how we manage our curb in more effective ways to provide sort of safety and ease of use for folks across the city. We could look at making investments into areas like lighting, where we can improve lighting and make sure folks feel safe as they're traversing the streets across our neighborhoods. We could look at improved signage and wayfinding or other types of public realm improvements. And overall, all of this is really designed to improve public safety, mobility, and accessibility. A few other examples here of investments that we've seen over the years across the city. So speed tables, enhanced lighting, all these things would be part of the investments that this fund could help support. So what does it all mean in terms of the sort of scope of the investment? So in 2026, if we're able to get this through council and have this legislation adopted and create this special fund, about $600,000 is what we're projecting to be able to invest in 2026. But then on an ongoing basis, somewhere in the range of 1.25 to 1.5 million on an annual basis could be generated through the special revenue fund, which would be administered through Public Works and the Division of Traffic and Engineering. And these things, in terms of the investments, I have a slide in a moment that kind of further highlights this, but really trying to link them back to Cleveland Moves and Vision Zero as the guiding, sort of documents and all the work that's gone into those things to help understand how we can best target these investments for the highest impact at the neighborhood level. I alluded to this a moment ago, but we want to make sure that the types of investments we're looking to make are aligned with the Cleveland Moves plan as well as the Vision Zero initiative. Certainly a big part of this as well, as I mentioned, as we made changes to the on-street metered parking system, community collaboration and coordination and getting feedback from folks at the neighborhood level is critically important to this effort as well, just to make sure that the types of investments that we're looking are the ones that are the highest priority for folks in their neighborhoods. And certainly we want to be able to work very closely with Councilman Slife and his colleagues on City Council to make sure that they're in alignment with the council's vision at the ward level for what's needed in the neighborhood. And then also, I think it's important to note that we want to start looking at opportunities to match these types of investments with other private investments that are going on at the neighborhood level so that we can further enhance and maximize the impact of improvements and changes in development that's going on at the neighborhood level. So again, from a Vision Zero and Cleveland Moves perspective, we want to make sure that these investments are made in high crash, high stress corridors. We want to make sure that they're happening in areas that are heavily trafficked by pedestrians, that are near key destinations like schools and other commercial corridors, and really just generally want to make sure that they're targeted to help improve vibrant neighborhoods and make sure that neighborhoods feel safe and folks feel connected. And then also wanting to make sure, as I mentioned, that we're engaging residents to make sure that their voice is a part of this work as well. We want to be able to make sure that we can act with speed and intention. That the idea here behind this fund is that we can move quickly to make these types of investments and make sure that they're aligned with what the neighborhood needs, and folks can recognize them right away. And we're able to tie the on-street parking revenue directly to important projects that make a difference for folks.
Very thorough presentation. Thank you for that. You answered a
welcome.
lot of my questions that I was jotting down.
Good.
Two quick questions just to follow up. So thank you for sharing what the projections will be as far as how much revenue is generated. Can you speak a little bit, if you're able, to currently, as related to these type of improvements, what percentage is this adding on top of what would already be happening if not for the revenue from the parking meters?
Sure.
That's a great question. When I think about the potential of this fund, as you guys have seen through some of the other mandatory referrals that have come through, we have been relatively successful, especially with our partners at ODOT, in pulling multi-million-dollar capital awards to advance bikeway construction and safety improvements through Vision Zero. Those can take somewhat of a long time to apply for, get all the agreements in place, do the design. One of the benefits of this is that it allows us to move more nimbly with local funds. I'm going to get directly to your question too. This also provides a funding source for sort of streetscape and placemaking types of investments in key neighborhood nodes, which we really don't have a funding source at all for currently, except for sort of one-off discretionary grants. So you may remember the news of the Bloomberg Asphalt Art Grant for $100,000 a couple years ago. We got a $100,000 award for a project for public spaces for the West 29th Street Plaza. So I think there are sort of two answers here about magnitude. From the mobility and safety side, we certainly are working very hard to invest and shape millions of dollars of capital investment around the goals of those plans. This is on the scale of being able to support additional required local match for some of those larger grants, so leveraging funds, or allowing us to move much more nimbly in terms of our local forces going out and installing things. And then, I mentioned those dollar amounts for placemaking initiatives, which this obviously multiplies many times over on a much shorter time scale. To help with the capital question, for speed tables, we're looking at a cost per speed table around $5,000 to $8,000, depending on how it's delivered. Some of our local matches for the larger multi-million-dollar grants that we're pulling down are on the scale of a couple $100,000. So this is a very significant and meaningful amount of money in the overall ecosystem of what we're doing, especially on a sort of recurring annual basis that we can count on and begin to program out.
That's really helpful. I think an encouragement that I would offer is some type of dashboard in time to report about this. As a native New Yorker, paying for parking is commonplace. Clevelanders feel a little different about that. And so I think seeing the benefit, right, and how it's being reinvested directly into neighborhoods, I think could be really additive, just to even just expand the narrative as to, where is my, $3.25 going, and, how it's benefiting the community at large, not just, allowing me to park here on this day.
Fantastic idea. I love it.
Commission members, any questions for me or comments?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 245-2026.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Anthony?
Yes.
Gray Scott?
Yes.
Sergeant's still not here. Slife?
Yes.
And Whitfield?
Yes.
Motion carries. Sorry, Evelyn, did Andrew join yet?
He has not joined yet.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lucas. Really appreciate it. All right, as a reminder, we're going to jump to the mandatory referral ordinance number unnumbered -26. This is granting consent to ODOT for the installation of dynamic message signs. And we have a representative here from ODOT. If you can just please state your name for the record.
Sure. My name is David Lustofka. I'm an engineer with the Ohio Department of Transportation.
Awesome. You do have the clicker there, so feel free to advance.
Okay. The backstory, this is consent legislation. ODOT is proposing to install some dynamic message signs in a queue warning system. If it's okay, I'll move ahead. I am not Keith Hamilton. He is the project manager. He has had some family health issues today, so that's why I'm sitting in his place. The goal of this project is it's actually being done statewide in multiple locations, but our locations here in the Cleveland area are I-90 westbound, approaching the Interbelt Curve, Dead Man's Curve, and also 176 northbound, approaching the intersection where 71 intersects with northbound 176 by Steeler Commons. The goal of this one is we get daily recurring congestion at these locations. So this system will install dynamic message signs, fixed cameras that will be pointed at typical queue locations where cars will back up. And it's an automated system that it will send a message to a controller. That controller will then flash either the message signs or flashing beacons to alert traffic that there's either stopped or slow traffic. So it's really a safety initiative for us to try to at least warn people that there is some incident, either an incident or just reoccurring congestion that's occurring. When that congestion does, I think there's another, kind of go through my slides here. This is really the system. There's 6 cameras. They obviously, once they detect stopped or slow traffic, they'll send a message to the controller. The controller then activates either those message signs you see or flashing lights. Most of them will be digital message signs, just alerting to traffic. As I mentioned, it's automatic, and it will turn off once that the traffic congestion has turned off. It's submitted to be a $1.6 million project. It's using state highway gas tax dollars. We're hoping to go for bids. Okay. And so we're hoping to go to a bid this summer and have this in place by next summer.
Awesome. Thank you. Very, I see a few in my route to and from work, so
Okay.
Thank you, ODOT. Any comments or questions from the commission members?
I just can't let it go without noting that the backup on the westbound I-90 as a recurring place of traffic is a primary reason of why I oppose the administration's plan to bifurcate the shoreway, because it will only compound the congestion that this is trying to address. Thank you.
Comments or questions? Hearing none, may we have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for approval for mandatory legislative referral, no number 2026.
Motion, we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. Evelyn, roll call, please.
Anthony,
Yes.
McCray Scott,
Yes.
Blythe,
Yes.
Whitfield.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate you being here in person. Next, we have a conditional use. This is for a large residential facility located at 1906 East 84th. This particular one has been before us. So as the applicants come up, I would just ask that this one has been. This is new. Oh, my apology. This is a new one. If you could state your name, and then in a moment I will swear you in.
Hakima Workman from K&E Home Care.
Thank you. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth for this matter and hearing under penalty of perjury?
Yes, I do.
Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Xavier Bay. I'm a zoning planner at the City Planning Commission. Today, we're presenting a conditional use proposal at 1906 East 84th Street. All right. The reason you're seeing this today is because the applicant is proposing what's categorized as a large state licensed residential care facility. And so these facilities are categorized as large when when the applicants are proposing between 6 and 16 occupants. And this is generally permissible in their zoning district, which is Community Flex, one of our pilot form-based code zoning districts within the Huff district. So the request here, as I mentioned, is a large residential care facility. Applicant today is proposing between 7 and 11 occupants. It is going to be state licensed, and the code states that the conditional use requirements here, that I'm going to go into more detail soon, are pulled from section 337.08. G 1 through 2. And so on the screen right now, you can see the property in question here, just at the corner of Chester and East 84th Street. And then on the right side of the screen, you see a map that just shows Ward 6. The star is the property in question. And then the small bubbles on the screen indicate where there are already state licensed residential care facilities. And so here's the zoning map. The property is in the Community Flex 4 form-based code zoning district. And so these large residential care facilities require conditional use approval from this body because really the purpose is to ensure that the proposal matches the context of the surrounding neighborhood. And so the two conditions that this body should pull their approvals from are assuring that the architectural design, site layout, the home location, nature of any types of walls, screenings, fences are compatible with adjoining land uses and the residential character of the neighborhood. And then you also want to assure that this complies with all applicable yard, parking, and sign regulations. Right now, the applicant is not proposing any signage. I just also included a few context photos, just looking up and down East 84th Street. Looking south, you see the intersection of Chester. You have some single-family homes right on East 84th, and then across Chester is a couple of row houses and multifamily complexes. Then on the northern view, on the bottom of the screen, you can see there is a presence of some large-scale density here with some more apartment complexes and churches. Next, I included just the site plan and floor plans from the applicant's proposal, but after this, we do have their slides to go into more detail about exactly what they are proposing. So you can see from this, they're not proposing any type of additions to the home. It's all going to stay very standard and very contextual to the residential neighborhood context. And then I have the floor plans just kind of blown up here so you can get a good idea how many bedrooms are there. There we go, and then a basement level. And so just to recap, the conditional use requirements here require that City Planning Commission decide to approve based on the architectural design proposal of the architectural design site layout of the property, making sure that everything's in context with the residential character of the neighborhood. I will just reiterate, this use is permissible in this zoning district and they are not located within 1,000 feet of another residential facility. So no variances are going to be required from the Board of Zoning Appeals. And that's all I have. Next, we do have the applicant's presentation to go into more detail.
Yep, you're green.
Here's the clicker. If you want to move forward, you click that.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. This is just a slide deck that we put together just to show the exterior of the property, the interior as well. We are looking to get use for between 7 and 11 occupants. It is an 8-bedroom home. This is just, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. So yeah, this is just talking about that we have to request because I want to get it licensed through the Department of Behavioral Health, and it's required for anybody if you want to house 5 residents or more. So what we are senior residents. I currently have a contract with McGregor Pace. I provide home care services for them. So I'm looking to house seniors 55 and up through the PACE program. We are not a treatment center. We won't have 24/7. It won't be a sober living house for reentry or anything like that. I'll strictly be working with McGregor Pace since I already have a home care contract and a transportation contract with them. This is just saying that we would like to house 11 people at the max. 7 would be our minimum. It will be mixed genders within that facility. I do have employees. We will have 2 employees for any of the adults that'll be living there. McGregor also supply home care services for those residents. And of course, I'll be the one providing the home care services with my home care providers that I already have that are currently working for me. They will not require 24/7 supervision. They will have free will to come and go as they like. And we will be providing 3 meals and 2 snacks a day to those residents as well. Primary service offering is just safe, stable, and clean residential environment. Like I said, we'll provide the 3 meals and 2 snacks daily. What we are not is a medical or clinical treatment facility, so we won't have any type of physical therapist, any occupational therapist, nothing like that on site. It'll just strictly be us housing them, providing meals and the snacks and caregiving if they need assistance with their ADLs or IADLs, which is their activities of daily living and things like that. So we just have some color pictures of the actual, our site plans and the actual property layout. These are some other homes that are in the neighborhood as well. And we have some interior pictures of the home. We do have chair lifts on the steps because we already have seniors living in the home. The property owners live there and they are seniors themselves. And one of those, the homeowner is actually a veteran himself. So it's already been equipped with the chair lifts and all that to get to the second floor and the basement as well. This is just space so you can see the actual layout. Some of the bigger rooms, we are looking to place 2 people in those rooms. If they are not big enough, it'll just be 1 person per room. And that's why we want between 7 and 11 in case we don't have 7, but we might have 10. So that's why I'm looking to get for the maximum amount of residents. Just the actual layout. Just another properties in the area. That property is directly across the street. Just the back porch so they can go out when the weather breaks, of course. Everyone will also have their own key entry. They already have key entries on the bedrooms for their safety. So they'll all have their own individual codes to get into the actual home and then actually get into their bedrooms as well. Most of the bedrooms right now have queen size beds in them. A couple of the rooms do have king size beds in them. All the furnishings are provided. The only thing the residents need to bring is pretty much their clothing and whatever they're feel free to hang up, you know, whatever pictures and stuff like that that they want in the room themselves. Some of the rooms are big enough to have, as you see, like a little couch sitting area separate from the actual bed. Okay. I'm sorry, I got like 60 slides on here. Thank you very much. So just to reiterate what Xavier said, we are making no external changes to the physical, design of the property. Well, it's just going on its own now. And we're not making any changes inside the home either. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Presentation. Just a reminder for those, for the person that's going to make the motion, just referencing what Xavier went over, which is on the screen around the conditional use around architectural design and the signage, which we had just heard is not gonna, and nothing exterior is gonna change. Go ahead. Any comments or questions for Ms. Workman?
Madam Chair, I did have a question. What about the exit for the basement area?
It has its own exit, separate entrance.
Okay,
That entrance goes directly outside.
Correct.
Okay.
that was my concern.
Yeah, for the state, they won't allow us to have any rooms actually in a basement unless there's a walkout, and there is.
Before I make a motion, I will just ask, this is separate from you and this, but I'm wondering if there's been sort of an analysis of this entire section of the code and how we've been spacing. And I know there were concerns about clustering and public safety, and I'm not implying that that would happen here, but I'm wondering if we have any data at this point that would be worth understanding how this is working, maybe how it isn't working. It's just kind of a macro comment. Maybe that's something we should look into. But in this case, I think it's pretty obvious, at least to me, that I can't think of a home that is more easily suited for this type of use. It's newer, it's got wider doors, it's clearly got space for people to maneuver. So in that, given all that, I move approval of the conditional use based for a large residential facility based on the buildings or the structure's ability to accommodate it architecturally.
Madam Chair, I second that motion.
Motion is second. Roll call, please.
Anthony,
Yes.
Gray Scott,
Yes,
Slife,
Yes.
and Whitfield.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you so much. All the best to you.
Yeah, nice job.
You as well.
And Madam Chair, if I may, while we shift cases to the councilman's question, I know it had come up in past conversations that this whole body was maybe interested in an informational presentation on residential care facilities. So we'll pull that together and put that on an upcoming agenda where there's time to sort of dive into questions like that.
Sure, and even like one thought might be like if we contact the Division of Police, we could do like 911 logs for all of the properties to determine if it's statistically, obviously there's going to be some, but is it statistically significant? Is this are some of the anxieties related to this real or contrived? But I'd be interested in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. We're going to move to our design review presentations. First up is Near West Design Review, Northwest, NW 2025-21. This is 30 West Apartments. Welcome the applicants to come up. As you make your way, just please make sure the mics are turned green so we can hear you all. And if you can state your names for the record, and then I will swear you in.
Ed Wolf, Young Design Studio.
Alex Quinones, EMB Properties.
Welcome back. Do you all solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth for this matter now in hearing under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Okay,
I
awesome.
think Brandon Young will be joining us.
Online?
Online, yeah.
Do we have Brendan online?
Brandon is online yet. No, wait. Yes, Brandon Young?
Yes.
Yes, he is
Mr. Young, can
online.
you just state your name for the record and yes to the being sworn in?
Brandon Young, yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I just
direct-
wanted to note, that this body, you did see this a couple weeks ago and the conditions that you gave her on the screen.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And then for commission members, this is coming before us for final. And as Evelyn just noted, they have been here and there are a couple of items. Since we did see the full presentation, I would just ask that you primarily focus on, addressing what came up during the most recent design review meeting.
Definitely.
And then we can kind of go from there.
Look.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you guys and good morning. So we've been working with Alex and his team to develop some housing in the site that we're seeing on the screen right here. It's got street frontage on 3 different sides. We can just fly through these existing context imagery. Oh, yeah. Okay. Currently in its state, it's 2 lots that are vacant, one that has housing on it, or a residential house that will be demolished. Some site context imagery, what's surrounding, primarily vacant lots or existing housing. Our proposed site plan, and to address the comments that were on the slides previously. The dumpster location, I know, was one of the issues that they addressed, and I think the argument that we're proposing is that moving it to the back of the site would make the entire eastern side of this just a flat sheet of concrete. I think we set it back to its location where it is right now. Originally, we had it even closer in line with the building and an extension of the building. We brought it back, detached it from the building, and provided some landscaping along this corridor that kind of goes through the site. I think it's a better approach than just bless you, than just a flat thing of concrete all the way along the entire eastern side. We developed a landscape plan providing, native species, native plantings, peppering them in through this walkway, through the site, all along the front in planters, and selected, some native species. Providing lighting, a couple different lighting styles. We have post lighting, some path lighting. The lighting on the signage would be eliminated. But basically what we're trying to accomplish here is the pathway that we're creating through the site would be completely illuminated through these path lighting fixtures that we'll see here in a minute, and creating some post lighting back in there as well. We're in a transit oriented development TOD zone, so we're providing a couple of the menu items that we can select from, providing transit information, wayfinding, orienting the entrances to the buildings along sidewalks, which I think one of the things was at the bottom there. You could see we're providing just a dedicated ride share space, and then providing a new pathway through the site, and an enclosed bike parking. Some images of the landscape elements, some of the plantings that we're selecting, our intention of what the rail is, the concrete planters, and then this is an idea of the bike parking, but it will be more enclosed. It will be completely enclosed is what we're proposing. Some examples of lighting, some wall sconces at the entrances, some path lighting, and the post lighting, as well as just an example of what the signage, how we intend the signage to be illuminated, steel cut letters, backlit. The floor plans really have not been altered, but a couple of elevations, talking about materiality. We can get to the examples of that, but to give you guys a sense of, 2D elevations, what we're intending here. Exterior cladding, 2 different styles of vertical wood with some horizontal trim elements. There's a bit of the foundation will be exposed, smooth face, cast in place concrete, some metal coping, contemporary entrances with side lights, black window frames. And I think there was a design review comment on how to handle, I think the only real comment towards the elevation was how we're handling the transition from the wood slat to the foundation. They just would like to see a bit of trim along that as well, which, we'll accommodate. It's not a problem. And just some exterior renders that we put together to give you guys a sense of the project. Were there any comments I didn't address? Oh, the fence. There was a comment related to the fence. We're doing a 6-foot tall fence, but it'll taper down to 4 feet at either end of it. I believe that was a comment so that on either side of that fence could see around it, accessing the street.
Thank you. Alex, anything else to add? Okay. Just a quick question, going back to the bike rack. You said that it will be enclosed. Is that going to be secure enclosure for the residents or? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Commission members, comments, questions?
Madam Chair, can we go back to the condition? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Can we go back to the, yes, I want to see those. Those were all addressed, right? Okay. Well, I'd like to make a motion to approve Near West Design Review number 2025-021.
I will second and ask if Brittany wanted something to add. It looked like you were about to talk when we cut you off.
Through the chair, thank you, Slave. Honestly, I felt confident that we've seen this multiple times and we've worked on it a lot, and I can see to your judgment. We're supportive of this project, again, a pioneer project in the Clark Fulton neighborhood, and we're excited to see this through.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Just want to clarify, there are no conditions we're approving as presented? I didn't hear any conditions.
No.
Okay. Anthony,
Yes.
McCray Scott,
Yes.
Slide,
Yes.
and Whitfield.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you so much. All the best to you all.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Shifting over to Far West Design Review, agenda item PRJ 26-002961. This is proposed Cleveland Business Park located at unnumbered Rocky River Drive. This is in our commission member Councilman Slife's ward. And we have, I think, a few representatives. Okay. Okay, a couple representatives. Evelyn, can we get one more mic just so it's easier for each of them to?
Just a pretty face.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna ask each of you to state your name for the record, then I'll swear you in, and then we'll turn it over to Nate. We'll start down here.
Jack Kelly, Skinell Properties.
David Perlberg, Chelm Properties.
Matthew Weber, Weber Engineering.
See, you're more than a pretty face. Do you all solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth for this matter and hearing under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
I do.
Okay. Anyone online from your team or just everyone's here present? Okay. All right. Do you all have a clicker? Okay.
I do have a clicker. Okay.
I'm sorry, just for commission members, this is before it's sound.
Yep. So we just had DRC Wednesday for conceptual. Again, I'm Jack Kelly with Skinell Properties. We've done a lot of work in Cleveland most recently. We purchased that 75 acres just east of the airport, put up a 300,000 square foot building in Brookport, sold the remainder to the Cleveland Browns. David with Chelm, this will be phase 3 of the Cleveland Business Park, and those guys have developed several million square feet in greater Cleveland, and they continue to own and operate throughout that park and have done a wonderful job. And, Matt Weber will be the civil engineer on the project. So we're very, very excited to come before you guys today, and we appreciate the opportunity to present. I thought there was a letter, but nonetheless, so what we're looking at, and I'll get to it further in the slide deck, but we're currently laying out 3 light industrial, warehouse distribution, light manufacturing, life science centric buildings, accumulating roughly 650,000 square feet over the 3 of them. We are zoned by right. We won't be seeking anything from the ZBA in terms of variances, et cetera. And it's roughly a 45-acre project. Historical use on the site, and I'll zoom in here. Everything north of Cleveland Parkway, that was 153 residential, single-family residential lots that was purchased with federal funds by the FAA about 30 years ago. They demoed all those homes, and it's been sitting vacant since. It's currently owned by the city of Cleveland. And then David and team at Chelm, they own that 15 acres with the second pin west of Cleveland Parkway that we're looking to put product on as well. So generally, and then we'll get to these site plans later, but we're designing these projects for maximum flexibility in terms of tenants that we're seeing in the market. We want to cast the widest net that we possibly can to attract as many, strong, reputable household names that we can, to generate income, business, employment, et cetera, in the city of Cleveland. So We will have auto parking in the front of the buildings. Truck traffic will circulate throughout the back. We will have some level of trailer parking. Buildings will range from 100,000 square feet to roughly 300,000 square feet. We will be getting to a landscaping slide as well. I think some miscellaneous items just to point out. Due to the proximity to the airport, we are not allowed to have wet ponds due to waterfowl. So our engineering plans will reflect that. There'll be dry ponds only and some variety. We will require a right-of-way vacation for those various roadways that you can see through that northern property. We will be submitting a consolidation plat as well for those 153 parcels north of Cleveland Parkway. And we will require an FAA release. So we are working to get that submitted over the next 2 weeks. I guess I'll back up here. The reason we love this site, very close proximity to the airport, very dense in terms of rooftops, labor force, skilled labor, et cetera, and, great proximity to 71 and 480. So we're excited about the tenant pool that we could be drawn from here. So super briefly, this is from the southeast corner of the property. You're looking west on Cleveland Parkway. The 33-ish acres owned by the city is to the north. This is from the opposite end of the property on the far west side, just adjacent to Cisco. Again, looking north at the property. This is the roughly 13 to 15 acres south of Cleveland Parkway, currently owned by Chum Properties. And this is one of David and team's buildings just east of this development, more so for reference. So this is the site plan. Again, we designed these to be as flexible as possible. These are typically going to be 28 to 32 foot clear height or ceiling height, resulting in probably anywhere from 36 to 37 feet to the top of the building. You can see full circulation in terms of pavement for trucks to get to the back of the building, double row of those for employment on the front. Tough to tell from, I guess, from the zoom level that we're at, but there is ponding dispersed throughout the project. You can see this isn't colored black and white. We will have a colored rendering in future meetings, but there is a landscape buffer, which we're very cognizant of, between the project and the residences to the north. So, we know that's oftentimes comment, oftentimes feedback, and something that we are, very cognizant of and want to bring the best to the community there. We do have curb cuts predominantly coming off of Cleveland Parkway in an effort to, generate traffic that does not disrupt any residents to the north. I'll also make one more comment. We are coming before you today. We have two conceptual site plans. This one that we're now switching to, this is what I would call the spec plan. That we would move forward with if there is no tenant procured. So jumping back to this one, the building in the top right, the northeast, this is the second layout. We are in deep conversation with a build-to-suit user, meaning that there's a tenant that we would develop a project specifically to suit their exact needs. And that's what you're seeing in that top right building. So we currently are exploring these two site plan layouts, and we're going to further refine this and define this as we progress conversation with that tenant.
Sorry, it's a little hard because it's not colored. Can you just go back again and say for the potential tenant, what is going to be different there?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Sorry. Here, I'll go to this one first. And these are slightly out of order, so I apologize. The building that you're seeing in the top right, I think it's roughly 280,000 square feet. It's just a Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
look at that. Yeah, that was awesome. So that building on the right, this plan you're seeing is a speculative plan. We design these buildings again to be as flexible as possible to meet market demand. And we have a very strong grasp of what that market demand is in terms of, tractor trailers, employment, demisability for tenants, et cetera, et cetera. So right there, that building on the right is a spec project designed to be flexible. And then, oh, sorry, I hope I'm back still.
Oh, there. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, thank you for doing that. That was a very good question.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Yeah. And then this one, so 234,000 square feet. So it's roughly 50,000 square feet less. You know, we chopped off the easternmost part of the building. You'll see there's probably twice the number of auto parks because this user specifically generates a very high employment count. And up top to the north, they only have 50% of the loading side of the building that has actual truck doors, a dock apron, and a drive aisle for tractor trailer traffic. So the loading, the auto counts, and the building size are really the three main deltas. But I mean, overall, they're really quite similar.
Thank you for going back.
Yeah. Yep. Of course. Okay. Thank you. So these are the building elevations. We do have an elevation for each one of the different prototypes of the buildings laid out. I'll probably just spend time on one because once you know one, they're all pretty self-explanatory. This is the 99,000 square foot building that we're showing on the south side of the plan. So, you know, we would expect this building, it's a little bit smaller, 28 foot clear. We're targeting higher finish users on a building of that size. And we are estimated anywhere between 4 to 6 tenants. You'll see there's 4 storefronts right there, both at the end caps and then 2 in the center of the building. We're targeting, you know, earth and neutral tones. We have no desire for these buildings to stick out, rather but blend in with the background and landscaping and the general environment there today. You can see the dock highs at the bottom. I guess the one other comment I would point out, you're seeing 2 drive-ins at the bottom. As we generate interest and start adding tenants to the building, I would anticipate some dock doors are removed, more drive-ins are added, but simple outside of that. Here are the floor plans. So just a bird's eye view, you know, removing the roof, looking at the floor plate of the building. Like I said, that's really it. I mean, same discussion points that we just talked about. I'll probably skip through these. Oh, shoot. And the only thing here, do you mind zooming at that very bottom image, please? Thank you. So this is the cross section. So imagine cutting the building in half. You're looking in the interior of the building. You can see that on this building specifically, this is the one that's 300,000 square feet, 32 foot clear height, meaning, you know, from floor slab to the bottom of the joist, the metal beams at the ceiling, you're at 32 feet for, you know, whatever the tenant wants to do inside, roughly 38 feet, 38 feet to the top of the building peak. And that's generally it. So kind of looking at heights in this image right here. Thank you. And then this is the landscape plan. So, you know, as you can imagine, to put a project like this on there, we do have to remove most of the trees. We're doing our very best to keep what is there on the north side, abutting the residential homes, to maintain. And then, you know, we will come before you for schematic with a detailed landscaping plan that will, you know, show all the landscaping that we will plan to implement for the project. That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Nate?
Good morning, commission members. Nate Law, Far West City Planner. As you can see, this did go on Wednesday to our design review committee and was approved conditionally with the conditions to add a pedestrian access from Rocky River Drive into the site, return with a detailed landscaping plan with specific emphasis on the neighboring residential uses. There was also some discussion about the proposed curb cut directly on Rocky River Drive, which is the main road here. So just in future phases or future presentations, better understanding what that traffic will look like would be important. And then also, you know, I think we understand the need for potentially multiple site plans with this type of projects, and some of it is speculative, but the committee did express a interest in locking down a site plan for future reviews, not a condition necessarily. And then our only recommendations or sort of, you know, aspects of this would be to make sure that they include bike parking. 24 spaces are required per the zoning code. And we also always encourage bike lockers on site for employees, so that's a more secure bike parking. And then just a note, obviously, that this will also, as I said, be returned to you at a later date for the right-of-way vacations.
Thank you so much. Councilman, would you like to kick us off with any comments or questions?
I'll go last.
Okay.
I did have one question, Madam Chair, to the
Yes.
presenter. Are there any prospective tenants for this already? Do you know?
We do. We have not, we're working with David and team on the background, just overall agreement side. So this has not hit the broader market. You know, I would expect a location like this, we would start generating engagement, excitement very quickly. There is one tenant that we are in discussion with currently. And maybe further that comment, you know, as this is more further broadly marketed, there's a likelihood that we will start securing users, at least for portions of the project, potentially prior to construction commencement, but I would anticipate certainly before substantial completion on some of these buildings.
Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, for the other space that isn't identified, are you planning to pour the floor? Or are you going to wait to see who the tenants are before you pour the floor? For the speculative, yeah. We would pour the floor. Okay. Yeah, I only ask because when I worked in industrial development, we worked with a lot of end users who then needed floor drains, and became problematic. Maybe we're holding back on that. That's up to you guys. So I'm gonna make obviously this land has been fallow for a number of years, and frankly it's been, I think, maybe a point of frustration for the residents who were kind of forced out. I mean, their homes were purchased, but for then it sits. So I'm glad that this is moving forward, to say the least. Just quickly, I think adding pedestrian access is, I always want to differentiate between what's a good thing, but it's on the city, versus what's a good thing and it would be on the property owner. And I think things like adding pedestrian access is maybe we need to figure out at the sidewalk, as the city of Cleveland, because there's not one on that side. So I do think returning with a detailed landscaping plan will be important, and the curb cut. And my final, before I make the motion, a question to staff. In cases like this where we are going through design review, but it's very clear that there's going to be other stuff down the road, like legislation for a street vacation, are we able to kind of preemptively give approval of that and allow you to approve it administratively, so that we're not having to hold you to a 2-week meeting agenda for something that clearly we are in favor of, because we wouldn't have moved this beyond conceptual if we weren't in favor of a street vacation, right?
Yes. So what we would, I think, typically do is link up the vacation legislation, even if it hasn't been the intent to vacate resolution, even if it hasn't been introduced yet, like by council, with the next round of review with schematic.
Okay.
If you would rather move on that today.
Just out of curiosity, have you begun the process of the vacation and the consolidation?
We have. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Probably about a month ago, maybe-ish. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to recommend conceptual approval, incorporating the recommendations of the landscaping plan, the curb cut, staff comments, and also authorizing the director to administratively approve any resolutions and legislations that come down the pike related to street vacation and parcel consolidation.
Motion, do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second the motion.
Motion and second. Evelyn, roll call, please.
Anthony,
Yes.
McCray Scott,
Yes.
Slife,
Yes.
and Whitfield.
Yes.
Excuse me, motion carries. Thank you all so much.
Thank you all so much.
You're
Thanks,
so
Councilman.
welcome. That's what I think I am sometimes too.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great weekend. All right, moving over to Central East Design Review, we have a demolition EC 2026-005. This is located at 8021 Rawlings Avenue. And our representative is Wu from the city, so I don't need to swear you in.
Good morning, Madam Chair and Council, Planning Commission members. Again, my name is Wu John. I'm from the city of Cleveland, the Demolition Bill, and we're here for the demolition of 8021 Rawlings Avenue. Let's see, oh, there we go. All right, and this is just the, just the overlay of how it looks on the outside from the front view. So currently, this is on the county website. It says it's by the zone, but actually the city of Cleveland Industrial Land Bank owns it. So basically, they're doing a land assembly on the opportunity corridor so that they could, give it to a developer to hopefully, develop this area. And so, basically, we just recently condemned this in January of this year. There really hasn't been that many complaints on it. And it's been really vacant since at least June 2025. And again, like I said, this is part of the Opportunity Corridor Demolition and Land Assembly. And again, the Department of Development asked me to bring forth this for them. And so basically, this is the site location. Basically, everything on Rawlings besides that big industrial structure has been demolished. There's nothing left there. Closer view, like I said, the church next door to that one has also been demolished last year. So like I said, there's nothing left there. And this is just the pictures of the exterior, front and back. These are the side views. This is the interior. This is the first level. Second floor. It's just mostly trashed. I'll just scroll through some of these more pictures. This is the basement. These are some of the neighboring parcels. The parcel across the street. And obviously when we demolish, we're going to remove all of the hard surfaces, remove any, any bushes, fencing and whatnot. I'm going to make sure we backfill and topsoil, seed and straw. And we're looking for your approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Wu. Commission members, I would just draw your attention to the agenda here. Design review approved with no conditions, but we do have a request for a condition from planning staff around removing the cornerstones if in the event there is any sort of time capsule information in those cornerstones.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments for Wu? Oh, yeah. My apologies. I was down and I didn't even look up. My apologies.
I will move approval. Oh, sorry. Go
No, I just wanted to be sure that are we looking at pulling those cornerstones?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
I didn't hear anything to confirm that.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. It's not a big deal.
I'll move approval of the demolition incorporating the city planning staff recommendation, but only because Kenya said it. I technically didn't say it, but I am saying it now. Yeah. It might be artifacts in there, so let's try to preserve that. Thank you.
A motion with second? Second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Anthony?
Yes.
Scott? Yes. Slight?
Yes.
And Whitfield?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Remaining in Central East Design Review, our next item is EC 2025-040. This is Unity 6 located at Capitol Avenue and East 89th Street. Feel like I've seen this gentleman before. Just again, busy man. both make sure you're green. If you can just state your name again and your name for the record, and I'll swear you in.
Fred Wolf, Young Design Studio.
Hi, I'm Olivia Diop with Black Lux Heights.
Awesome. Thank you both for being here. Do you
Brandon's going
solemnly
to join us again, so he might have to, I think.
online again?
Yeah.
Brandon, are you online?
Yes, I am.
Do you all solemnly swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth for this matter and hearing under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. And then
Yes,
you
I
have-
do.
Thank you. And I think you all have the clicker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Good morning again. Been working with Olivia and her team to put together a development on the site plan that we're seeing here. Corner of East 86th and Capitol is where we're primarily going to focus all of our attention. Current, there we go. Current situation is that it's all vacant at this point. We're working with a couple of vacant lots surrounding the site as well. A couple of residences who are still immediately adjacent, but primarily it's a mostly vacant area with some housing across East 89th. Some pictures going up and down East 89th, again, primarily housing, and I think there's a church, what we're looking at in the bottom right-hand corner there. Currently, it's situated as 5 separate parcels. What we're proposing is a split consolidation process to put together 7 different parcels, 6 for the units and 1 for the parking and the park amenity space that we have. Some elements that we're going to include, some contemporary lighting, some benches, a little free library back in the little park, public park, as well as a little dog park up there. You can see denoted, it's got a little P in it. And we worked with a landscape architect to put together a landscape plan that we were working with design review. There were some comments regarding what was originally proposed. We put this together, sent it off to them, and have we received any?
Yeah, so the committee approved it. I sent it earlier this week when you originally sent it, and the committee didn't have any complaints, and they were in approval of the proposed landscaping schedule.
Great. So this comprised of mostly 1-bedroom stacks and 2-bedroom stacks. This would be the floor plans for the 1 bedrooms. And these are the floor plans for the 2 bedrooms. There's going to be 4 stacks of 3 2-bedrooms, 2 stacks of 3 1-bedrooms, totaling 18 units. Some 2D elevations, calling out materials. We'll give examples of the materials right here. Just vinyl lab, vinyl board and batten, some textured aluminum for the wood elements, and we'll get into the renders to give you guys a full picture here. We'll see the smooth face concrete foundations, full light doors, an example of the porch canopy that we're proposing. And then these would be architectural renderings of what we're proposing. Other than that, I think the only concerns from design review were the landscape comments, which I think, we've addressed.
Yeah, so they came back for final on February 12th, I believe. They had been a local design review a couple of times, as well as being a CPC back in December. And the main comment that they had was to produce a better landscaping schedule. And then the committee was pretty much in approval. So now we're here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Commission members, comments or questions?
Madam Chair, I'll motion for approval subject to the recommendations of the local design review district and city planning recommendations.
I second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Anthony,
Yes.
McRae Scott,
Yes.
Slythe,
Yes.
and Whitfield.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank
Awesome.
you all so
Thank you,
much.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kenya. Next up is Southeast Design Review. First up on the agenda is CSE 2026-002. This is Gracemount School Site Development. Do we have the project representatives online?
I believe Jesse is online, yes. And Veer, yes.
Yes.
Are both Jessica and Veer online?
Yes, I am. I'm Veer Shah. I'm just gonna have my colleague, coworker.
Okay. I'm just gonna swear you in. If you can just let me know, Jessica, if you do come online. Or Jesse, excuse me, my apologies. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth for this matter and hearing under penalty of perjury?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Drew is online. Okay. Awesome. Please proceed. We'll control the presentation on our end.
Okay. As you can see, this is the Gracemount site, and this is just a context map to give a context to where the site is. You can see the JFK school and its proximity to the Gracemount site that we are looking at right now. And the map on the right shows a larger context to the city. Next slide, please. This is an existing conditions map that talks about a survey that we did for a previous project, but it also gives context to our current site, and it includes a process that talks about the existing conditions of the buildings and the neighborhood, just understanding how many number of buildings are in good conditions to fair conditions, and how much of them are more in dilapidated conditions. So this gives a larger overview of the corridor, the residential and the commercial status of the neighborhood. This slide outlines the study area, which measures approximately 260 by 580 feet. Understanding the site boundaries, surrounding streets and adjacent land uses helps establish the broader planning context, and informs decisions related to circulation, building placement, and the organization of open space within the development. Next slide. At the center of the development is a shared green space of approximately half an acre. The site plan prioritizes pedestrian connectivity while minimizing unnecessary hardscape. Driveways are consolidated to reduce curb cuts and improve safety. This area functions as the central space functions as the primary open space for residents and supports informal recreation, small gatherings, and passive use, while landscape elements such as rain gardens contribute to more on-site stormwater management. If you go to the previous slide, please, before the renderings. Yeah. The landscape strategy emphasizes native and climate adapted plant species that support local ecology and perform well in this climate. Canopy trees such as swamp white oak, red maple, etc. Provide shade and help strengthen the neighborhood tree canopy, while understory species like serviceberry add some seasonal interest and ecological value to the whole landscape design. Hardscape areas are limited where possible, and permeable materials instead of paving are incorporated to improve stormwater infiltration and reduce surface heat. In the next renderings, you will see some views that incorporates playful areas for younger residents, and the plan incorporates nature-based play elements such as logs, small landforms, and sensory planting. Seating for caregivers or parents is located nearby and also provides more eyes on the playgrounds, and the layout maintains clear sight lines to support visibility and safety. Now moving on to the housing piece of this development. The development includes 16 townhome units organized into 4 unit buildings. Each unit is approximately 1,600 square feet and 3 stories in height. Entrances are more oriented toward the street or shared open space, helping activate the public realm. The access to townhomes maintains a pedestrian-oriented streetscape, and the images on the right side are some references to the architecture of these townhomes, and these are all informed from the community engagement and the feedback that we received from the community itself. Again, shared driveways sort of reduce curb cuts. Landscape elements such as bioswales help manage runoff along circulation areas, and visitor parking is accommodated primarily on the street. The next piece of the housing are the single family homes. The plan includes 14 single family homes ranging from 1.5 to 2 stories. This housing type responds to community input while contributing to a modest increase in residential density within the neighborhood, or something that we see in the existing fabric. These homes also include front yards with shaded trees and direct pedestrian connections to the street. Driveways they have detached two-park car garages, and driveways are kept relatively narrow to limit paved surfaces again. Yes, again, you can see the 3 images on the left on the previous slide that talks about the architecture of the single family homes that was more preferred by the community. And the last slide is a site plan. Just as a conclusion, overall, the plan reflects key priorities identified through community engagement, including more usable green space, fewer large paved areas, improved safety and walkability, and a balanced mix of housing types that modestly increases neighborhood density. Thank you. And I have my colleague, Mr. Wiles, on the call. And Mr. Wiles, if you want to add something to it.
No, I just finally figured out how to get on. So you hear me. No, I'm available for any questions, Veer, along with yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Just a reminder, this is before us for conceptual. There are a few comments here, both from planning staff as well as the design review. Commission members, comments, questions?
Yes, Madam Chair, to the presenter. First of all, I think your plan, the square footage of the homes and the townhouses are a bit small. I would hope that your design would be to go back, rethink it, and give them a little bit more square footage in the homes. That is a very, very, it's a high voter area in Ward 1, and I'm sure that the residents there would appreciate having something a little bit more upscaled in that community. You have a lot of homeowners there that would appreciate something a little bit more upscaled, being that you're talking about single-family homes and also townhomes that are going to be new.
Thank you.
I concur with those comments. I know the site well. I believe the units, the houses and the townhomes are a bit small for the area. I've seen several attempts to do something with this block, and that's always been the conversation. How large would those structures be? I think it's, and I'll get away from the financial end of it. That's not my immediate concern, but the concern is what do we deliver to the neighborhood? And I think I concur with my colleague. I believe these are just a bit small. And I would encourage the development team to go back and revisit and see if we can't make some improvements there.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
I'm not in agreement with this, so I don't know how we want to handle this or motion.
Madam Chair, sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. I had one comment with regards to the kind of layout of the green space. We're showing, or the applicant is showing, play areas kind of adjacent to roadway. And segmented play areas. I'm wondering if there's potentially room for consolidation of those play areas, particularly and then moving them more interior to the site. Usually within designer play areas, we want to accommodate at least, at minimum 30-foot distance away from roadways. Of course, you don't want younger children running out into traffic. And because we have, kind of this uninterrupted kind of block in between these two roadways, it kind of makes sense to potentially shift that play area more inward to the site, again, making it a lot safer for children to play not adjacent to roadways and break up this kind of different areas of play and have a little bit more consolidation. And then also to the comment about, I think design review comment about, the transition from the single family homes to the play area or the play area center. I think that could be a little bit more thought out as well. It seems that the townhomes kind of have this frontage directly onto the green space, and again, that might be something that folks want directly living adjacent, but I think that barrier also should be kind of considered and kind of giving those people privacy on their front yard. So kind of rethinking the boundaries, the ones that kind of directly adjacent to the roadways, then also to the adjacent residential fabrics of the site. I think you need a little bit more thought there.
Director, did you have a comment? Sorry.
I was just going to say to Commissioner McCray Scott's reluctance to make a motion, if there are additional specifics that you could offer the team, since this is a conceptual approval that they could take back to continue to refine, you could include those as conditions, and then that allows them to continue developing before they return back to us.
Thank you, Director.
Yeah, excuse me for a moment. This is Jesse Wiles, the owner of the firm. The comments are very constructive and very helpful. The only thing that I would add is that we were also the same firm that worked closely with the city and the community to do the Lee Harvard Master Plan, and during that period had several opportunities to meet with the community about this particular site and look at site plan opportunities, typologies, housing size. And then when we bid it and were selected as the preferred developer for the site, we went back to the community again and made additional modifications to the site plan. Talked about building size, the green space. So what you're actually seeing in the site plan, both the configuration, typologies, average square footage, are all reflective of what the community asked for. And so we have no problem going back and incorporating the recommendations that you made. But my guess is that we probably will need to revisit that with the Lee Harvard community again, because it's going to be a little bit different from what they actually signed off on as a community. As far as the upscale nature of the units, I mean, you don't know us, so you're meeting us for the first time, but that is a characteristic of our work. It's we know the importance of introducing something that's above and beyond what the community may actually be experiencing now, as a way to inspire and more neighborhood transition to upper scale or nicer homes. So you should, without saying, trust me, just, that's what I'm asking. That's what we do. That's the way we deliver product. And there has been discussion about quite a range of discussion about the size of the units, and the layout. But again, what I'm sharing with you and what was presented today is really based on a lot of community feedback.
Thank you for that additional context, Jesse. Turn it back over to commission. Anything follow up to that?
Jesse, thank you for your comments. I think this is not to say no to shut this down, but to how to make it better and provide a better amenity to the neighborhood. I know the neighborhood very well, grew up there. And maybe consider the size of the green space, the size of townhomes, the size of the single family homes, and maybe there's one unit less to give a little bit more space. That's something you can work out. You have great engineers, and I'm sure you can figure that out. But I think we're really not giving the very best that we could give to the neighborhood. So this is not a way of saying no, go away, don't come back, but put your thinking caps on and think a little bit more.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do we have a motion?
You want? Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for conceptual approval.
Yeah.
With the condition that they consider making possibly fewer units so that you can have more square footage for the residential portion. Also to look into the possibility of improving the play area, maybe even looking at it being gated in some way for the residents that have children in that area.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Madam Chair, I will second that motion.
Motion and a second. Evelyn, roll call, please.
Anthony,
Yes.
McCray, Scott,
Yes.
Sergeant. If you're here and unmuted. He was here. Drew? All right, Slight
Yes.
and Whitfield.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you all. Appreciate you receiving the feedback.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Shifting over to Downtown Flats design review, we have. Good, okay. We have two back-to-back that are related, DF 2020.
It's one that just ran over.
Oh, it ran over, sorry. Thank you. DF 2026-007, Meet Me Here Plaza.
And Madam Chair, before we hand it over to the applicants, I wanted to let commission members know that we have coordinated quite a lot with this team over the last week since they went to Design Review Advisory Committee last week. And so we are recommending that the commission consider schematic level approval. They'll get into the details of all of that, but just wanted you to be aware of that since it is different on the slide in the agenda.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Do we have one more mic we can maybe pass down? Here. Okay, Denise and I can share. That's make it easier for a presentation. Okay, in a second, well, I'll do the swearing in and then just ask that each of you say your name. Just please make sure that your mic is green so that we can hear you. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth for this matter now in hearing under penalty of perjury? You can just say your name and then yes or no.
Yes.
Anthony Bonavita, yes.
Michael Deemer, yes.
Colin Mavis, yes. Sylvia Aereo, yes.
You want to just say it just because? Yes, okay. I think it's like the largest group we've had.
I know.
Before us. All right, I think someone may have the clicker. Okay, you have the clicker. Okay.
Good morning. I just wanted to say thank you again for having us. We do have a large group. It's representing a needed partnership on an exciting project. I'm here obviously often with you all on behalf of Bedrock. Together, I'm here in partnership with Rock Entertainment Group and the Downtown Cleveland Incorporated. As we embark on an ambitious plan for a space that is well known to all of us, over the decades, it has certainly seen its fair share of plans and iterations. And given the importance of a 10th anniversary that Anthony will get into, we really wanted to take the opportunity to present an idea to the Planning Commission today. I will say, to echo the director's comments, we have worked a lot with the city in the last week in particular, and together with DCI, and really appreciate that effort to get us to where we are right now. So thank you.
Good morning. I'm Anthony Bonavita with the Rock Entertainment Group. Thank you for allowing us to be here today. I appreciate Callie and Dan's help to, move this rapid pace project along. We woke up in December and said, "Oh my God, it's the 10th anniversary of the championship. We got to do something." And it just happened to be that Michael came to us and talked to us about the grant that he had gotten. And we were starting to work on that. And then we started to think bigger and started to think more grand about it. So we worked with Michael and Sylvia and the team. I said, let's figure out how we park the 750 that they have for play, which Michael and Sylvia will talk to. And let's see if we can do something really cool for the 10th anniversary. And then beyond the 10th anniversary, there's a lot to come down the pike. I can't get into specifics about specific players, but at some point very soon, well, I don't know about very soon, but who knows, in the next number of years, we're going to be able to, have a place to celebrate. And so we thought that this idea of this court, which is something we've been thinking about for a while, was a great staple for what we are intending to do as we continue to build out the program and the phases for this project. So what you'll see today is what we're asking the city and Callie and Dan and the team to help us get up and operational by June, so we can celebrate the 10th anniversary. And then we'll continue to collaborate and communicate with the city and DCI on what the future phases of this program will look like. As you all know, it's right across the street from the Rocket Arena, down the block from Cosm, which we are excited to have a groundbreaking in a couple of weeks. We are under a year out from the players moving into the new Global Peak Performance Center. And last week we announced an amphitheater on the river. So other than that, I got nothing going on. With that, I appreciate everybody's time, and I'm going to pass it over to Michael Deemer from DCI.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony, and thank you, Madam Chair, members of the commission. Thank you to the staff as well for the partnership and not just over the course of the last week, but day in and day out as we work together to improve downtown Cleveland. As Anthony alluded to, we are a partner in developing this particular part of downtown. We were able to work with the state of Ohio to secure a state capital grant in the amount of $750,000, and working with stakeholders, with city staff, we identified Meet Me Here Park as the ideal location for developing a play area. And the context, I think, was important here. Our vision for downtown Cleveland is one of a safe, connected, active, growing place, and that's really to say that placemaking is a driver for economic development as we think about how we're going to do a better job of encouraging people to want to live and play downtown, to encourage people to want to walk and linger and come early for events, stay late and linger and support small businesses along the way. Having welcoming, inclusive spaces is critically important. And, for us, Meet Me Here Park sits right at the apex of one of those very important places in the heart of the Gateway District, surrounding small businesses along Prospect and Huron, and just, Square, a short walk down Ontario, and really a linchpin connected to all the investments and new developments that Anthony just outlined, right up the hill from the Global Peak Performance Center, right next door to Cosm, obviously right across from Rocket Arena. We've always looked at this space as, not just a node within the neighborhood, but really as a gateway to the Gateway District, a gateway to downtown. And so we've been excited about the partnership, and as we're working with the Bedrock team and partners in developing what the space could ultimately look like, as Anthony alluded to. Lo and behold, the 10-year anniversary of the championship team is right around the corner. We can't quite move as quickly on the state capital grant as to meet that timeline. But I think we recognized a great opportunity to do something in the short term at that site that lays the foundation for everything that we want to do and see that site become in the not too distant future. So we're excited about, I would characterize as this first initial phase, and looking forward to doing even more in this part of downtown.
Thank you.
All right. So I'll walk through some of the components of the design. Colin Mavis with MKSK. So I know most of you are familiar with this location. It's well known and has a lot of eyes on it. But here we are at the juxtaposition right at the corner of across from Rocket Arena, across from the future Cosm site, and at the corner of the riverfront development. And then just zooming in one click further, showing how this space fits within the context of the block and the context of Gateway District, and really is the terminus to Ontario Street and what people experience as they're coming into downtown. The existing condition today is a flat lawn area with the Meet Me Here sign located just kind of at the corner of Huron, and otherwise is a passive green space in the city. You can see some of the views around the site here in the site context. There are a number of significant street trees that line the site that will remain in place. We'll have protective fencing up for the development of the site, interior of the sidewalk, so at the sidewalk back of edge. So none of those trees will be impacted by the site development. We also have a really nice access point right here that you see in view 1 from 4th. So easy access to the site for the construction. And then aside from that, we really are just looking at how is this like, where are the areas that are going to have the most activity, the most foot traffic. We really wanted to focus the energy and the entrance in coordination with the things that are coming down the pike. So we know the full site is part of a larger vision. We know there's a lot of collaboration happening for the full site. So we wanted to make sure that these improvements were concentrated where this first implementation could have the most impact. You see that in our site plan. Here, where we're organizing the most of the development towards the 4th Street East Huron Road entrance and access point that puts it right at the crux of the exit from the Jack parking garage, the future entrance to Cosm, the major crossing points there to Rocket Arena, and really just a fantastic area for footfall and people to come into the site easily. This was the site plan that we presented at DRC last week, as we have made revisions to it as a result of the feedback that we got there. And we also, we do have a kind of development limit of a half acre or less to meet our schedule. So we're trying to stay within that envelope, but we were able to look at that design and really start to maximize based on the comments we received. So I'll talk through some of those changes as we get to the site plan. This is our just construction plans showing some of the materiality, the organization of the site, the sizing of the court. It is a professional court size. And we were looking to try and set it at a prominent point, but also an area that's not going to totally encumber the full site to allow for that build out. And then we're looking here at the rendering. And I'll pause here to talk through some of the iterations that we've made since our meeting last week and receiving some really great feedback. So one of the first notes was a request for trees in the ground. No issue there. The trees will be planted in terra firma. We're also, you can see the walkway that connects to Ontario. That was another comment, really focus on trying to activate Ontario as well as the corner that we had focused on. We were able to kind of realign some things and fit that within our half-acre disturbance zone. So we'll have a connection to Ontario as shown here. And another comment that came out was the more intentionality to meet me here and making sure that had more prominence. So here it was shown in one option as a corner location. We've since looked at using it to activate the plaza that will be at 4th and Huron. So you'll see that. And then also, while we can't playgrounds, take play surfacing and a lot of regulations around play, but you can incorporate fun and play. So we're looking at different furnishings that really evoke play and that initial kind of fun aspect. So we're looking at some kind of tiered seating that will allow for scrambling and kids to climb up and down and still have that activity while being able to use the courts and celebrate this fantastic moment for the city with this rapid implementation and activation of the site. So here I can, one other comment that we received on fencing to extend it and really protect balls from going into Huron. We've also made that adjustment to the plans. Otherwise, the organization is the plaza that you see that has the detailing of the basketball as it kind of comes into the site. There's the court centered on the space. We're working with the city to try and tighten that up and move it a little bit more north and east, really to just allow for more flexibility on the site going forward. And all the trees that you see here will be planted in the ground with this first implementation. Some of the materials that we're anticipating for the build out, concrete for the area immediately surrounding the court with some flush curb control areas. The plaza will be unit pavers in 2 different colors that contrast to create the pattern. We have a broom finish, one of the areas just adjacent to the plaza, just to create some contrast with the main area for the courts. And then the court system will be a graphic applied court system that allows for kind of detailed representation of the 2016 court and is also we're choosing the system that is replaceable over time, so can be redesigned and updated iteratively, as the years go, and really can incorporate a number of different ideas and designs as the space is built out. So our initial design inspiration is the 2016 court to celebrate that fantastic year and that win. And then some of the other furnishings for the site, we are investigating some different benches than shown here. So a little bit more playful bench, but in all, we were trying to look for something that would be unique and lively for the space. We have lighting for the courts that will allow it to be safely lit for evening use. And then the basketball hoops, which are adjustable, they can be regulation height or lowered for youth use. And then the chain link fence for the kind of backstop to catch the balls. We open to the comment of keeping it neutral and black and kind of as minimal as possible to the view. And then aside from the planters here, we will have the tree plantings and we may switch out the species now that we have the flexibility of planting in the ground. So. Just our disturbance zone and just showing we're trying to maintain that that acreage to stay within our permit limits and our letter of determination from NURC that we don't require review, although we are in coordination with them. They know that there are plans coming down and that will build out the full site. And so just to show where we are now today from last week, you can see that curved connection that comes off of the central space with the courts, the kind of looks like a checkerboard seating to incorporate some more playful aspects and just additional variety to the space. And then moving the Meet Me Here art piece to that corner to activate the plaza that's on the corner there, and the trees will be planted. And then just showing the switch out of the benches here to something that's social and playful and colorful. And, starting to coordinate with the larger vision and herald that. So hand it over.
Thank you. Turning over to Dan.
Thank you guys so much. Dan Schinkel, Principal Planner, Major Projects and Public Realm. Just wanted to walk us through design review last week and give some staff recommendations. First, just wanted to say, the city's looked at this site for a number of years, and with developing some concept plans and things like that. Most recently, we started working with DCI on their state capital grant for the site. They also pulled in Land Studio that I think really helped us think about play across the downtown district, which was really helpful. And I'll show a quick graphic on that in a moment. And then the Cavs and REG jumped in, and we were really excited to see this move forward. We had always contemplated basketball being a part of this site, and probably never of this scale, and to commemorate the championship. So I'm excited to pull that in now. And we really want to support the team in hitting this championship anniversary that's only a few months away. We've since design review also had some additional conversations with the team and continue to coordinate exactly the final locations. So we'll talk about that in a little bit here. But just to update, Downtown Flats did recommend conceptual approval last Thursday. The team has already addressed the trees. For the most part, the fencing, I think we still want to drill down on, the right amount, the right balance of fencing here to contain balls, contain kids from the roadway, but still feeling welcoming and porous in the right places. And I think we'll easily be able to do that over the next few weeks. They've also addressed the Meet Me Here sculpture, more integrating it in the design. There's comments about trimming the grass around it, though the Cavs already complete that work for us currently. So we appreciate that. And then the final two that are more in a light blue tone here, really, I think reflect a phase 2 component of this that DCI has alluded to, and the Cavs have alluded to. They really wanted to see activating the space with more uses beyond just basketball, and including some additional hoops. And the Cavs have also since talked about their programming with us about how additional rollout hoops could occur here, and more of that the clinics and sort of programming that they typically do could occur. So we're excited about that. They've also made an entrance now over to Ontario, made that connection formalized. And so kind of developing that further with the phase 2, I think will be great. Just a couple recommended conditions today. Obviously, we're very supportive of meeting the championship anniversary timeline. The team will have to move very, very quickly over the next few weeks to hit that. So we're actually supporting schematic approval here today to help them move along. We are asking that the condition just be to shift the court to the northeast to provide enough space for the play elements. As we start to pick these out, there's a lot of safety zones and components of that we want to dial in. We've already started discussions on just how far we can navigate that, and I think we'll be able to work that out here pretty quickly. And then we do agree with the Downtown Flats design review conditions. Those we would support incorporating. And then as this really moves past this first phase, the condition to really master plan the site, find out how play really integrates with the court, and all of the future potential uses for the site. And that could be things like, compelling and interactive public art. That's something that Land Studio really opened our eyes to, of what was possible at a site like this, and being a gateway to downtown. We're very an arts-centric city and a sports-centric city, and this is an opportunity to bring those two together. And then the potential for future courts and commemorative statues and things like that to come forward. So that's really our thought process on these. I just did want to give a quick overview on the history. Before the 2000s, this was actually a parking lot. And then from the 2000s through 2018, it was a small little city pocket park. You can see the benches and greenery there. And then we had the expansion on the arena. And so the site actually turned into a laydown yard for that construction. We took down the pedestrian bridge over Huron at that time. And so, and we actually, at the time, relocated Meet Me Here from the front of the arena to this site. As time goes on and we develop this plan, I'm not sure that Meet Me Here is the right place for this is the right place for it. So we want to think holistically about that going forward. But I alluded to Land's work on this with DCI and us, and we were really impressed with some of their thought process around bringing play to downtown. And we really hope that this is the first of many opportunities to continue to expand a playful, kind of family-friendly, kids-oriented downtown. I think that'll really take us to the 21st century as a city. This graphic we all loved because it really tells the story of shore to core to shore, but through our green spaces and through play. And that this is a key piece on that corridor. So that's all I had today, and just threw the conditions back up here, and appreciate the time.
Thank you all so much for the presentation. I have just a couple of comments and questions before I turn it over to my colleagues. And actually just stand on your last point about the interconnectivity of the shore to core as it relates to play and activation. I just wonder if there's anything we can garner from the pop-ups at North Coast Yard last year. Is there, any data that shows like what was really popular? What did patrons really, attract to, right? And again, the scale obviously is not the same, but just, to get some inspiration, since that is such a recent initiative, and, anything we can garner from there, I think would be helpful. By no means am I a tree expert. I'm going to defer to my colleagues on this, but I think just from a height standpoint, especially for future consideration of public art, I'm just thinking of the species selection, that it doesn't in the future prohibit or hinder the visibility of what could be, some future public art behind it, but far more sophisticated folks that know more about the species. And then what is not clear for me is who is ultimately responsible for the activation and the maintenance.
To the chair, I'm so glad you brought that up. I was going to jump in just to make sure it was clear that the benefit of this unique partnership is the operations, programming, and maintenance commitment that's been made for the space. So I know Anthony will talk about details, but we really think it brings an overlay that's needed for a space like this, not just obviously with the site elements, but with activating a new space downtown. And I think we're all eager to see that and to work together with REG and their team for operations, programming, and maintenance.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Commission members, comments, questions?
Madam Chair, I did have one question. What was the plan for the paver area? Maybe I missed that.
The paver area at the corner of 4th and yes. So that is anticipated to be kind of the primary entry to the park. So at this first activation, it's a welcoming entry. It's kind of really celebrating the corner. It alludes to a basketball. The idea is to keep it flexible so that they can so if there are clinics held out there or different events at the space, different programming that's planned there, there's an area where you could pull up a food truck, you could set up market tents, you could start to have some kind of check-in for clinics. Yeah.
You answered my question. Thank you.
Anthony?
Madam Chair, to the applicant, just a couple comments. I'm thinking about the orientation of the court. There's a slight counterclockwise kind of hitch to it, but it's still kind of generally oriented east to west. Thinking, you might get some early morning, maybe afternoon shade from the sports facility that maybe kind of covers that east to west orientation in the beginning of the day. But I imagine players in probably the most used part of the day will probably have some hard time seeing, and probably hint at maybe shifting that orientation a little bit more counterclockwise. That could help with that, kind of shielding, sun going into players' eyes directly, playing, on the west side of the court. And I think it's kind of like the alignment to the banner, but if we're thinking about, again, 2 to 3 years and people using this, kind of profusely, like I imagine that again, orienting to like the best use of play would be beneficial. And kind of speaking to the banner, I'm not like not savant with parking garages, but that parking garage is actually maybe one of the better ones within Cleveland. It has like kind of a unique architecture to it. Right now, the banner kind of doesn't seem well integrated with it. That the kind of western side of the parking garage is kind of oriented to the kind of slope of the ramps internal, has some kind of punctures in it, and then also even the kind of sweep that's underneath the current advertising like billboard. And I'm wondering again if the banner could kind of be more well articulated with the architecture behind it, kind of take advantage of that diagonal sort of running straight across, then also not just leave the portion underneath the current billboard kind of blank, right? I'm not, I think there could be a more interesting kind of integration of the facade behind, maybe breaking up the banner into two or something like that, just so it reads a little bit more kind of uniform and kind of cohesive. I think, again, this being kind of an area where we're anticipating people coming out and play, I think that's one of the success, as mentioned by the chair with regards to the North Coast, is that people came out to play and to watch. And while I think there's reason to have like this fun and kind of interesting seating that we anticipate kids might be able to climb over and all that kind of stuff, and this kind of goes with my comment about orientation, is I think there should be some kind of seating for folks to just kind of sit and watch the games. I think much of the seating is kind of oriented to like where there is no porosity within the fence on the opposite two ends of the basketball hoops. And I'm wondering again if we can think about some seating that could still be fun. I think you're looking at these tiered seating options that I don't want to say are like bleachers, but are oriented in a way that give people an opportunity to watch the game. And if they're not playing, a brother watching another brother, or, family members watching family members, I think that makes sense to kind of, really, promote the activity of actually playing basketball. And I think to my fellow commissioners' comments about the kind of unit paver plaza, I understand it being kind of flexible, and I'm wondering if there is some way to, keep it open, but then still provide maybe that alternative seating that's not necessarily for viewing the sport, that could potentially be moved or shifted to accommodate some of the things that you're talking about, food truck access and some of those other things. But yeah, those are some of my comments, and I'm glad you cleared up that some of the paths that were shown in the rendering are now the plan, because that was a bit confusing in the provided presentation.
Thank you, Drew. Councilman?
You have anything in? A couple kind of minor things, just thoughts. One is for the lawn area at the corner. I'm just thinking, as people are walking in, like mass amounts of people are walking to and from the arena, does that become a path that people just kind of cut the corner? And would it be worthwhile to put some sort of like low decorative fencing that would also keep my kids from running out into the street? So it could have a dual purpose there. I had the same thought about tree species, and this theoretically could be an opportunity to plant something that is more substantial, but also trying to weigh that against visibility of the sign. I'm also wondering if there's a landscaping or other maybe secondary phase element, since a lot of the basketball season coincides with cold weather as almost like a windbreak. So people that are here and you're right up near the flats, so that there's something to kind of block that wind coming off of the flats, just because I imagine that could be useful. The sign, the part that says "this is for you," I just feel like wants to be center aligned, but it's like justified aligned. But whatever, it's not that. Yeah, I'm like this. Like basketball is for you, this tree is for you. Like it seems like a blank space. So but because like the is so far right. But that's I'm not a designer, so that's just my thought. And then my last comment began in my head as a joke.
but I think there might be something there. I don't know where the status of like the East 4th Dora is. The joke was gonna be that I'd love to bring my kids somewhere where I could also have a beer. But and I love them without the beer, but it's great. I've been asked in Cam's Corners about like why don't we have a Dora, and my answer is like, well, you can walk out of a restaurant, but there's really nowhere to go to. Like you can just walk into the next restaurant, and there's nowhere to linger. And I think that when we initiated the Dora on East 4th, which I think is legally established, but we might need to do more to really get that going. We had kind of been intentional that there would be places on East 4th to linger. I'm wondering if we need to get back to the conversation about where in downtown are there places that you can go to and kind of stay at. And this seems to align well with like the East 4th. People are able to like, oh, well, we'll go and we can watch a little bit of basketball before we walk in. And perhaps this is a place that could kind of sync well with what the intention of the Dora zone is, which I think is something that we still haven't taken full advantage of in Cleveland.
Councilman, can you just define what?
Oh, yes. Dora, designated outdoor refreshment area. So you can, or something to that extent. It's where you can buy, is that right? It's where basically you can take a to-go drink in a designated cup from a restaurant in this area and basically have like an open container. Have an open container within a specified zone that's signed, and it's something that coming out of COVID, state law enacted. Like I know they have, my friends live in suburban Columbus, Powell, and like you can walk around Powell, you know, kind of to and from places and go to the park with the beer or wine you bought at the restaurant. You just can't walk into another restaurant holding that drink. So like this would be an opportunity maybe for people to have some a more defined relationship with East 4th. So.
Thank you. You were talking about the kids, so I didn't know if we were talking about Dora the Explorer.
So is live action Dora the Explorer is from Ward 50.
Want to make sure I was clear.
Isabel Merced. So there's something there. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, other comments, questions? As we prepare to make a motion here, just a reminder that we are, director and staff are asking us to make schematic approval. I think we've heard pretty extensively, even since the team here has been before design review, the work that has gone in to meet and continue furthering the plans for this particular development. So our conditions are on here. I feel really good about what has been presented to us today as far as meeting at least design reviews conditions from February, as well as some of the recommendations from staff.
Well, Madam Chair, I'll take a stab at it. I would like to make a motion for schematic approval with the conditions that were handed down by the Downtown Flats Design Review and also by our colleague to shift the court to the northeast, incorporate all of the Downtown Flats conditions and have a master plan site for phase 2. Is there anything else I'm missing?
I think we're good.
Oh, and the windbreak for the basketball for the area. That's it. Is that good?
Just want to make sure it's a lot there. Just want to get everyone here.
Yeah.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and second. Roll call, please.
Anthony?
Yes.
Gray Scott?
Yes.
Sergeant?
Yes.
Blythe?
Yes.
And Whitfield?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you all so much. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice job.
Get one of our mics back here. Dan, do you mind just shifting one of our mics back?
Wait, hold on. Do we still have to do their,
It's a continuation. I thought the same thing.
Page.
Oh, that's just a continuation. I thought there was something else for the sign. I read it as something else for the sign.
All right. We are moving on to our public art design portion of the meeting. First up, we have EC 2026-004. This is Destination Cleveland 2026 red badge at Wade Oval. And we have a couple of these, or two of these, excuse me. And we have Courtney. Yes, and Tara. Awesome.
Oh. Okay, very good. Well, thanks so much for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. I'm Courtney Bergon with Destination Cleveland. I'm our Development and Experience Coordinator. A little bit of background, if you all don't remember these from last year, these are, this picture is showing what we call our badge sculptures. I have 3 sites that I'll show you today. The first one is in Wade Oval. So again, we have 3 of these. They're pieces of illuminated street furniture. They're internally powered by a hand crank. They don't require any connection to underground power or anything like that. And per our agreement with the city, they must move once a year. So we're looking to move them at the end of this month already, I guess, the end of March, beginning of April. They're part of the larger Illuminate CLE project. And here are some of the sites that we've had over the past 2 years. So you'll notice that they predominantly, well, they've all been in the downtown footprint. A little bit more background on these. They weigh 1,500 pounds empty and then are filled with 1,800 pounds of ballast. So they're very, very difficult to knock over by one person or several people for that matter. We've not had any issues with anything of that sort, you know, while they've been in and around downtown for the last couple of years. Again, no connection to underground power is required, but you know, they light up and they play sound and they're kind of a fun interactive photo op. I have the shop drawings on here in case we need them, but just good to know that they're, oh, sorry, I'll go back. They're about 11 feet wide, or, sorry, yeah. 11 feet long, about 2 feet wide, and like 6-ish feet tall. So the site that I'll have y'all look at first is on Wade Oval. Sorry, the picture's a little blurry, but we are near the entrance to Botanical Gardens. Here's where the red badge currently sits. It's on Prospect near the 5th Street Arcades. And we're proposing to move it again to like kind of the southerly portion of Wade Oval. You can see the newer wing of the Cleveland Museum of Art in the back. There's just another site photo. And I threw in a photo of this, the Wade Oval Music Playground is nearby. Not immediately adjacent, but we think it's kind of a nice connection again with like the sound and the lights and sort of like the fun nostalgia of it all. I guess that was my last slide for that one.
Sorry, we can go through the other sites
Yeah.
and then we'll just do separate motions.
Sounds
Thank
good to me.
you.
Thanks. I'll page through these because these are all duplicates. The other 2 sites we're considering are the yard. So we are looking to land kind of in the middle. I think North Coast Yard provided a decent site plan. I hope you all can see that well enough, but kind of living in between their 2 tents, sort of dead center, you know, on their site. This one currently lives at the Great Lakes Science Center. So this is the orange badge. We're moving it just a little bit down the road to North Coast Yard. Site photos. I'm sure you all are familiar with the site. It's just fun to see kind of activation and where it's been centered before, and that influenced our decision on where we were going to put it this year. And then the third badge is moving down the road. It currently is at Cleveland State University. Gets really good engagement there. And we just kind of want to move it to a new site where we think it will get equally as much attention, but just kind of giving it a new life and a new space. So it's currently by the by CSU's food truck park, and we're moving it a little bit closer to Berkman Hall. So just a little bit further east. There's another aerial shot there where it currently lives. And we're proposing to move it, and I'm going to apologize in advance. These are not the best site photos. I got really bad weather this when I really did try for y'all. So we're having it face inwards on where this landscaped area is. We're going to have it a couple feet off the tree, so it'll be accessible all the way around. And I think that kind of might be the end of my slides here. So I'm happy to answer questions on that. Again, apologies, those are not the most clear site photos, but we have walked the space and there is ample space to put it there.
No problem. Thank you, Courtney. Tara, before we start our motions, any comments or reflections?
Thank you. Um, before I get started, at the risk of embarrassment, I'm gonna say it anyway. Happy birthday, Councilman Slife.
Okay.
For the end, we'll sing happy birthday. But now to the business of it all. The location at Wade Oval was approved by the Central East Design Review on February 26th. I reached out to Councilman Conwell, didn't hear back. So typically with the council members, no news is good news. I'm sure he would be in support of this. And that particular location at Wade Oval Wednesday, I'm very excited, or at Wade Oval, I'm jumping ahead. I'm very excited about because I think it'll get a lot of activation, especially during Parade the Circle and Wade the Oval. And I'm glad to see a location outside of downtown. So I am in support of that one. The two locations downtown were approved by the Downtown Flats Design Review Committee on February 26th as well. I think both locations will activate very well with North Coast Yard, especially in the summer, and then CSU all year. I didn't hear back from either council person. So again, no news in my mind is good news. I'm in support of that one as well. And I did have one question for you, Courtney, and that was if you all, over the last 2 years of activating these different locations and various sites, do you all have analytics on like which sites activated more than others?
Yeah. I can speak to that. I'm only laughing because the way that we pull the analytics, I don't know if I've told you this, I have to turn the crank and then I have my phone out and I have to people think I'm crazy. It's really funny. So yeah, the CSU, the current CSU location by the food truck park has performed the best. I think just because it is like a space where there are a lot of people just organically, naturally already there. And then the Science Center and the Fifth Street Arcades are about the same, but less than CSU. The only location that hasn't performed like super, super well, I think, well, the first year was just when we were getting up and running, and we weren't pulling the analytics as often. So they've all done well. Yeah, good question.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll start with EC 2026-004 for the first motion, please.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for approval on EC 2026-004 public art.
Thank you.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Anthony?
Yes.
McCray Scott?
Yes.
Sergeant? Is he online still? You not? Slife?
Yes.
And Whitfield?
Yes.
Motion carries. And then we'll move on to the seconds with the two addresses.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for approval on DF 2026-005 for 2351 Euclid Avenue and 515 Erie Side Avenue for public art.
Thank you.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Anthony?
Yes.
McCray Scott?
Yes.
Slife?
Yes.
And Whitfield?
Yes.
Awesome. All the best to you. Thank you. Remaining here in public art, we have the Welcome Home Frame Mural installation. This is located at 3917 St. Clair Avenue. Do we have Nancy and Jordan? Or I don't think Jordan's here.
Jordan is online.
Jordan's online. Okay. Nancy, and your name, sir? Okay, awesome. And then Jordan, are you able to hear us okay online?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, very well. Awesome.
Wonderful. Good to see you all.
Thank you. Awesome.
Oh, yes. I didn't know if we had to be sworn in or not. Okay. Sure. Thank you so much. My name is Nancy Boylan and I'm with Land Studio. I have Jordan Wong is online. He is the artist, as well as Dave Wellner here. He is the fabricator and installer for this project. And we're seeking final approval for the installation of the framing system and the mural at 3917 St. Clair Avenue. Oh, okay. Sorry. So this is just an aerial view of the site, and the arrow is pointing to the side of the building where the banner will be, or the framing system will be installed. This is a street view facing north. And street view facing south. The building is on our left. This is the mural location where the frame systems will be installed. I'm going to pass it on to Jordan so he can give you a little conceptual background approach to the artwork.
We can actually just go straight to the artwork, and I can
sure.
talk more about it. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again, everyone, for the opportunity to share this vision. It's, again, a great honor to contribute once again to Cleveland's Asiatown's neighborhood, its culture, and its vibrancy with this piece. And the title is Welcome Home, and it really celebrates this feeling of homecoming and cultivating a place of belonging and prosperity. As you drive into Asiatown, this is going to be like a really prominent visual, and I wanted it to be this visual celebration, welcoming those into Asiatown, which is why I included this main imagery of the entrance gate, which is inspired by the Chinatown entrance gates throughout the country. And this is specifically something that has been really talked about in the community, especially in these community engagement sessions back in 2022 with Midtown Cleveland and Marika Shiro Erie Clark, both of who were prominent partners on my Transformative Arts Fund project. And the conversations around entrance gates is why we did an entrance gate for one of the main installations. So I thought, how cool would it be to use that as a main inspiration as you're coming into Asiatown. The other imagery and motifs were also greatly inspired by my time spent with Michael and May Hong, who are the owners of Siam Cafe. And I got to learn about their story, their journey of coming to Cleveland, starting this restaurant, which is now 30 years old, which is, really, really incredible. And just the hardships that they've overcome in building this new life and how they've had to adapt. And I think that's, really part of the immigrant story, of Asiatown. And I wanted to include, a lot of that in the artwork, with motifs like, water flowing and kind of turbulent waves, that we have to navigate through life. There's other motifs like bamboo, which is, points to resiliency, as well as prominent Chinese phrases that were chosen by Michael himself. The first one on the left translates to love comes first in the home. And then in the center, that phrase translates to food is the first necessity of the people. And these two really point to this idea of family, home, shared meals together, and our common expressions in the Chinese language. And when he chose them, I thought that they were really perfect. And then the last three characters were actually chosen by myself, and that translates to moving forward together. And really is my and Michael's, May's, and the neighborhood's hope for a bright future for Asiatown as it continues to grow and maintain and also thrive in its cultural identity.
Thank you, Jordan. I'm going to go back one. Sorry. I'm new at this. Oh, well, it's going the wrong way, I think. Okay. Can you go back? Yeah, can you go back a couple? One, that slide there. Okay, so the application is aluminum tension frame with a 13-ounce vinyl scrim And the Councilwoman House Jones has been informed of this and she does approve. The building owners are also, not only does Michael and May own Siam Cafe, but they also own building at 3917 where this will be installed. And there will be a memorandum of understanding that will be executed between St. Clair Superior Development Corporation and the owners of the building permitting this to happen. And St. Clair Superior Development Corporation will be the stewards of this installation. Let's try it. There we go. Want to take it from here?
I could speak to the framing system. So as Nancy mentioned, it is an aluminum extruded frame. It's the actual frame is called a TS44 by Tensioning Solutions. We will be fastening these frames to the structure using Tapcon masonry screws. So those are 3/4 by 3-inch screws, pretty standard for fastening within a brick building. We will then separately house the banners, and that'll be a separate installation. So we'll mount the frames, and then we'll come in and we will mount the banners within the frames. And those banners are at the same size as the frame system. Now, this is a very rugged system. This is the same frame system that we've used throughout the city of Cleveland. We have one in Public Square that's been up there. We've changed the graphics probably upwards of 30 times. It's also the same frame system that we've used on Cleveland Browns Stadium, Huntington Bank Field. So if you ever see the large images of the players as you're driving along the shoreway, that's the same frame system we intend to use here. And yeah, the fasteners that we use are intended for long-term outdoor use at a brick structure. Now, we did submit a permit for construction as well for the fastening to the building.
Wow. And this is the mock-up on the wall, as it would look. And that is it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, you have some comments?
Yes, thank you. I am very much in support of this project. I think it's culturally relevant for the area. It gives another strong visual identity of the culture of many that live in and work and run businesses in this area. It is not in a design review district, so it's coming straight to you all. I did have a couple of questions. One was probably Jordan would be able to answer. How many different languages are in the symbols? It looked like there might have been a couple of different ones, and I know there's several different Asian cultures that live in the neighborhood. So that was one question. And then if we go back to the slide that shows it with the clearance for a vehicle, what size vehicle is that to represent? Is that the full 8-foot vehicle that you said you were clear? Okay, so a lot of cars may be less than 8 feet. So my only question, and this is at the risk of getting in trouble with Commission Member Fluker if he's watching. I know I'll hear about this, but my question, I think it's important to have it high enough that people can't get up to it to touch it, but I'm just concerned about the amount of negative space when there's no cars parked there or shorter vehicles there. So my question was around the exact height on the building. But other than that, I think this is a wonderful project. I'm glad that you all have a steward. And if you all could provide us a copy of the MOU with St. Clair Superior, that would be great.
Absolutely.
When I read the comment in the agenda, I immediately was channeling Vice Chair Fluker as well. Thank you.
If I may speak to that for one moment.
Please.
So the height of the vehicle, or I should say the height of the work itself, of 15 feet is based upon how wide we can make a single panel without having to have a seam in it. So we could potentially shift it down, but we tried to have an equidistant space on the sides as you see above it to kind of frame it nicely. And also, like you said, put it out of reach so nobody could potentially, tamper with the work.
As far as like the visual impact, I think the work, it's going to fit really nicely on the wall. It's going to be strong visually, like color-wise, drawn imagery. That having some breathing room towards the bottom actually might give like some like a visual rest for the eye. And there's also kind of an aspirational viewing experience of the piece, kind of looking up towards it and having it elevated off of the ground, especially with that entrance gate imagery, which entrance gates are, they're large structures. And to have this piece so big, I think, will have that kind of powerful visual impact. As for the languages, the languages are specifically traditional Chinese, which connects to the history of Asiatown first being Chinatown, and many of its residents, as well as the decision to include like these Chinese entrance gates. But there are a lot of things that kind of overlap into other Asian cultures and ethnicities that there's like kind of just a common thread and a lot of shared elements. I mean, even the Chinese language itself is the basis of like the Japanese language. A lot of the Korean language comes from traditional Chinese characters as well. And, imagery of like mountains and water, these are all very, very common motifs in other Asian cultures that, I'm very confident will be received really well, even outside of the Chinese community.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. I think that's a good explanation for the positioning on the wall. I really particularly love the colorful vibrancy of it. And I think that's gonna really, really activate the area for the color and impact. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Please.
So the framing system that you use, what is the width and thickness of that, and how far away does that sit from the building itself?
So I do have a technical product book, and I can leave this with you as well. But so basically, the height of the frame, so it will come off the wall 1.5 inches.
Okay.
Now the graphic does kind of go to the very edge of the frame. So as far as the visual image, you're not going to see like a border of aluminum, if you will. It kind of goes to the very edge. The graphic, that is.
Now, that answers the question. My point was, as it's shown in the graphic,
yes,
you have a shadowy effect around, so you get a 3D image. And,
absolutely.
And typically we see it right on the wall, brick itself, which I think is much nicer presentation.
And it allows for, and this, as I mentioned, it's very durable, but should anything ever happen to one of these banners, because it is a vinyl piece that's housed within it, we can replace just that one section pretty inexpensively. So.
If there are no other comments, may we have a motion?
Madam Chair, I motion for approval of this public art project. The number, but let's see. Yeah, at where are we? Yes, at 3917 St. Clair Avenue. Incorporating all of the comments of my colleagues today.
Second.
Motion and second. Roll call, please.
Anthony?
Yes.
Grace Scott?
Yes.
Slide?
Yes.
And Whitfield?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much.
All the best to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Yeah, it's good to see you again.
Sorry, Charlie.
Thank you so much.
Slide. Thank you.
Just reminding the commission, we already addressed this particular mandatory referral that is in our agenda. If we could take a moment to review the administrative mandatory legislative referrals and receive a motion for those.
We already put that. So.
Yep, just the administrative.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for approval of the administrative mandatory legislative referrals numbers 231-2026 through 236-2026.
Thank you. We have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Anthony?
Yes.
Grace Scott?
Yes.
Slide?
Yes.
Whitfield?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you so much. Our last item for today is our director's report.
Good morning, still commission members. I don't have a director's report for you today. We've just sort of been plugging away at our typical work, so no items of note to report.
There we go. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. Our next meeting is Friday, March 20th, and wishing everyone a great weekend.
Thank you.